Hi, this video is all about the mind model. It's something that I use with all my clients before we get started. Its purpose is to help you understand the problems that you've been facing and why perhaps you've not been getting the goal achieved like you had set out to do. So today we're going to focus along weight because it's just a nice, easy one to really explain. And I think that a lot of people can probably understand that because I think we all have these sort of habits around weight. Um, it is only a model, which means that it's just my perception of how I believe that the mind works and how hypnosis can help. So just want you to bear that in mind. It isn't all scientifically backed before people start commenting. It's just a mind model, and hopefully it's there to help you understand better about your challenges and why you've not overcome them yet. So it all starts here in the unconscious mind, and this is where sperm and egg meet and the unconscious mind forms. Okay, your unconscious mind is responsible for your immune system and your bodily functions. So things like breathing, digestion, all the things that just happen on automatic that we're just not really aware of. We blink, we get saliva in our mouth, we digest food, all these things are happening all the time, but we're not really consciously aware of them. We know we're doing it, but we don't know how we do it. Okay, unconscious mind. At around 22 weeks in the womb, the subconscious mind is formed. And this is where our beliefs and our values are. Okay, so when we're within our community, when we're within our country we live in, with our family, all these different imprints come on us at a very young age of beliefs and values, and they often stay with us for the rest of our lives. Okay, so all of that is there in the subconscious. We have senses, we have feelings, and we have emotions. And these are change our state. Okay. So what might happen? Let's go back to what we said about in a weight loss one or working on weight issues. Would be okay. So every time I feel sad, I go grab an ice cream. Okay. So what might happen is I might sense something in my body. I might get a feeling, a sensation going on about feeling sad. Okay, so I might sense it as I might start slumping. I might find that my heart rate feels slower. My temperature might start to change. And as I do this, I might notice some feelings coming in, a feeling of being a bit sad, a bit down in the dumps, maybe a bit flat. Okay. All them emotions are going to start coming up too. So those senses, those feelings, those emotions are all starting to come to the surface. And as they come to the surface, that begins to change our state. So I'm sure you've had it, you've been in a great mood and something happens, it changes the way you feel or an emotion pops up, maybe it's an old memory, and all of a sudden your state changes. Okay, so it's all happening on that subconscious level. What happens is we then have a habit begin to form. So our subconscious mind goes, oh, she feels sad. And during that period of sadness, you might have gone and bought an ice cream. You went, I feel much better now. That bit of sugar just pepped me right up. And the subconscious mind goes, well done. We found a solution. They don't feel sad anymore. And so the subconscious mind forms this habit for you. And it goes, right, when you feel sad, ice cream is the solution. Okay. Now, don't get all upset with the subconscious mind. Okay. It's doing it with a very positive intention. There's a lot of positives to the subconscious. Whilst we look at it from our point of view of, oh, I'm gaining weight, I'm unhealthy, maybe illnesses are creeping in. And we get frustrated with it and we start trying to change it and we don't understand why it's not changing. And we get quite upset with ourselves at times, especially if it's something quite big. And so we'll be like, oh, I don't understand why I do this. Oh, I'm terrible. Anyway, the thing is our subconscious mind does have a good intention. As we just discovered, the good intention there was when you feel sad, this is how to make you feel better. Okay. It doesn't have that future vision. Okay. It only feels in the moment, only right now in this second. That's all it's interested in, is making you feel good now. Don't think about 5 years' time and gaining 5 stone by doing it every time you feel sad. It doesn't consider any of that. It's lazy. So once it's found the solution, it's found this habit for you, it goes, job's done. That's it. And so it becomes the habit, it becomes ingrained. And the more that we reinforce this habit, the kind of deeper it sits. And the subconscious mind is stubborn. So yeah, lazy and stubborn. It's found the solution. Great. When the next time comes that you feel a different feeling, it'll find another solution. But for this particular one, this exact emotion, that's what we do. And we can look at TV shows, movies. What do they tend to do? Girl gets dumped, she goes and gets a whole tub of ice cream and she eats the lot. We're also getting a bit of conditioning from TV with that too. So the subconscious mind is working with us on creating that habit, not realizing it's going to become problematic in the future. Our senses, our feelings, emotions are all firing it off to get that habit reinforced. And of course, lazy, stubborn subconscious mind, with its wonderfully good intention, keeps allowing that to happen. And we get frustrated on a conscious level. Now, our subconscious mind is about 90 to 95% of who we are and what we do. Our conscious mind is around 5 to 10% of who we are and what we do. And it's believed that the conscious mind begins to form around 5 to 7 years old. So what does our conscious mind do? Well, it's analytical, it's rational, it's critical, it compares and it contrasts. So whilst we're there going, oh, I'm gaining weight, I can't stop eating the ice cream every time I'm down, okay, we're analysing ourselves and we're rationalising, well, it's okay, it's low-fat ice cream or it's vegan ice cream, or we'll criticise ourselves, oh, I'm gaining weight or I'm getting this illness and I'm not doing well, and we'll compare and contrast with other people. Well, how come they can eat ice cream and I can't? And, we'll start looking at the world around us and start positioning it against us. So we'll make ourselves generally feel worse about it, or we might even try to rationalize what we're doing. And so we're going, oh, it's okay, it's just one ice cream, oh, it's my holiday, it's a treat, it's Friday night takeout, lots of different things, okay? But that's all coming from the conscious mind. So once we've decided to keep berating ourselves, what we will do is we will go, right, I'm going on a diet, no more ice cream. And we're going to use this wonderful thing called willpower. Willpower is great. For some people, willpower is enough. But for most of us, what happens is we'll be going along our week, our month, our year, and we're going around and we're doing really well. We're using all our willpower. No, no ice cream, thank you. No, thank you. I'll have a piece of fruit. No, no, thank you. And then one day something will happen and it will trigger these senses, these feelings, emotions, and it'll get you in a state. And before you know it, that willpower with all its good intentions has been bypassed and we've jumped straight back to that old habit. Why have we started it again? You could do it with, look at it with nail biting, same thing. I'm going to use willpower, I'm not going to bite my nails anymore. You might even buy chemicals to paint on it, all sorts of different things. But once you hit that threshold, something will happen and it will just swing you straight back into that automated habit. Why? How frustrating. All that hard work, all that effort. And the thing is once you've jumped back onto that habit, you seem to be stuck back on that cycle again. You don't go, oh, I've jumped back there and then I've come back here and go round again. We tend to get stuck here. And that's because we've gone back to subconscious mind until we start to really fight again with the willpower. And, we can look at dieting. How many times has people been on diets? Because they're trying to fight it with willpower. So what do we do about this? We know that our conscious mind is 5 to 10% of who we are. Our subconscious is 90 to 95%. So willpower doesn't work generally. For some people, it absolutely does. But in general, it doesn't work because you're an army of 5 to 10% fighting the army of 90 to 95%. So this is what's going against you all the time, is this just has more power, okay? So with hypnosis or any of the techniques that I use, we bypass the critical part of the mind, okay? And there's different ways you can do that. So you can have it by shock, You can have it by relaxation. Things like hypnosis are a really good way of getting from that area through into the subconscious mind. So, for example, some people will get a diagnosis, and that shock will be so bad they will quit smoking or quit the sugar or whatever it is they need to do because the shock was enough. And that's it, they never look back. Other people, they can have limbs taken off, they can end up very poorly in hospital, but it's never enough of a shock for them to make that change. So it's subjective to each person as well, how big the shock is. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that a huge shock is going to bypass this for you, because it has different thresholds. So what we do is with hypnosis, we bypass the critical part of the mind. And once there, we go into the subconscious mind and we start talking to it and we communicate with it. Basically, what we do is we find out what the good intention is behind it. Okay, so generally it's to feel better, it's protection, it's security, it's love, there's lots of different reasons. And what we do is we actually make the subconscious mind aware of future. Okay, so we say, look, I'm not sure how much you're aware of things. I know you're in the moment, this is great, but actually for longevity, it's not working so well. We want the positive intention to still be fulfilled. We don't want to change that because it's looking after you, it's looking out for you. What we do want to do is change that behavior or that habit. So we ask the subconscious mind to uncover its own behaviors and habits that it can change, that it's willing to change. And then we check on that and make sure it's ethical and, everything's okay. Make sure that the whole of you is in agreement with that. And then we ask it to now use that new behavior, that new habit instead. Sometimes the subconscious mind just wants to test it for a while first. It doesn't always go, yep, straight away. Sometimes it says, okay, well, I'll be willing to do it for a week or two, and then we can reevaluate. Because the subconscious mind is part of us. It's not separate to us. And remember, it's only a model. So all these different levels of mind is just our way of rationalizing what's really going on, trying to understand the mind better. But we don't really have these like different core levels of ourselves like that because they all just intertwine. But this is the easiest way for me to explain how hypnosis works, and the process that I go through with my clients. So once we've had this discussion with the subconscious mind, the behaviors then start to change and start to form. And the same when we're doing with NLP, we're not always directly talking to the subconscious mind. Every session is different, every technique is different. But what we're always working on is these. Okay, we're not really interested in the story. We're interested in what you feel, how you feel, where you feel it, when you feel it. And when we know those things, we can begin to work with them and we can begin to change how they materialize within you. Okay, good examples. And someone's at the top of a roller coaster and we're just on that part where you're just about to drop down. One person would be screaming and full of excitement and thrill for this ride. And another person sat there might be feeling very, very anxious and very afraid. They will both likely have a racing heartbeat. They will probably have a dry mouth. They may have sweaty palms. Okay, so they'll have very similar symptoms represented here, and yet they've both got a different name for it. So you've got excitement and you've got anxiety with the same symptoms, but it's a different name because the person who is excited chose to respond to it in a positive way and go, when I feel this, I feel excitement. Whereas the person with anxiety will choose to respond, when I feel this in a negative way. Okay, so what we can do is we can begin to look at what them feelings, emotions, sensations are going on in the body and start to change how we perceive them. So we know that when we've got a habit that we need to break, if we can change that emotion, that feeling, that sensation, then we can get a different result. And that's all we're ever doing with the work that we do, is we're looking at those senses, those feelings, those emotions, and we're changing the states. We're changing the way that you perceive it, and that allows you to move forwards and past what's going on. So I hope that this has been really helpful. It is just a model, it's just a way of trying to make sense of how it all works. There's lots of different ones, you know, there's people that talk about the icebergs and things. I like this one because I feel that it really connects with my clients and helps them to understand what's going on. Um, if you're interested in hypnosis or any of the techniques that I do, then please do reach out. And I look forward to hearing from you soon.